How long were you a statist? And by statist, I mean a believer in a government or a believer in this slavery that we're talking about. How long were you a statist, and how did you get out of that?
Look, since I was a child, I never believed in politics, okay? It was garbage to me anyway. And I was raised from a very religious family, okay? Because in Africa, in many third world country, people are very religious. They have a religious mindset, okay? And my parents, since I was a child, they tried to inculcate religious mindset into me.
Hmm.
And until I went to live with my so-called family members in Texas, okay, yeah, that's where I understood what the world is like and how evil the system is. But I was not really conscious of it. Okay, yeah, I was never a hardcore statist, okay, but I was not knowledgeable about how the system really works. I was quite ignorant. I still ate meat. um I still believe in a lot of erroneous belief. I was a more relativist, still believe in uh, many erroneous belief and garbage that was thrown at me, and I bought it. Okay, and whenever the so-called pandemic started, that's what woke me up a lot
Hmm.
to many things, and I started to understand. Wow, we are in a big mess because the problem is many people will just see the pandemic and say, "Oh, people who don't buy in the pandemic, they are awake and they got everything." When the point of fact is not, it goes beyond that. It goes very deep, and people. That's the problem with most truthers. Most people in the freedom movement, they don't understand how deep the rabbit hole goes. Okay, and once you start to understand how deep the rabbit hole goes, you'll be horrified in understanding that most human beings are not even there. They're not even into the conspiracy level of understanding. They're very ignorant about the dynamic of the world, how the system really works. Okay,
Yeah.
and you be horrified. I was very sad, horrified when I started understanding. Wow, government is slavery. We are a slave species. We are enslaved. I'm currently reading a book, have it with me, by it's called The Slave of the Species. Okay, if
Hmm.
you see it. The Slave Species of the God by Michael Tellinger. Great book. And it basically talks about the intervention theory, about human beings being created by these beings who came on this planet 1,000 years ago. Okay, how we got here, and explaining everything. Okay, and I advise a lot of people to read this book. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Wow.
his name is Michael Tellinger, the slave species of the god. And when I found out that we are enslaved as a species, we're not free. That everything we've been taught was a lie, was a deception, and that most people don't even know this.
Hmm.
That's really sad. And I see them every day. Most people are very ignorant. They're still living in their life into a selfish mindset, and people talking about, oh, there is a great awakening happening. You're delusional, quite frankly. There is no great awakening happening. People are even more ignorant than 10 years ago. I can explain you something, and then I'll let you talk. I was exposed to the conspiracy theories when I was 15 years old. Okay, when I came in the U.S. in Texas. Okay, one of my cousins showed me many videos about the so-called Illuminati. Okay, about there was a video about Jordan Maxwell explaining all this. I didn't know it was Jordan Maxwell until I understood. all this system. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and it showed me about the conspiracy theories about the system of slavery we live in. It's a system of slavery that these people control everything. They control the monetary system, this priest class or dark occult sorcerers who run everything. They control everything. And at that time, a few people, many people start to understand that both parties were puppets, with George Bush being a skull and bones member, with John Kerry as well being a skull and bones member, and people started to understand, oh, both parties are the same. You know, they were not really polarized right now until they elected Donald Trump, and that's how the polarization was brought in, and people are buying to left wing, right wing politics.